In a world where some driver brands try to charge £500, £600, even £700 for the latest tech, we've come to VICE for a fit-in on their new driver range. We've travelled all the way to Munich to the HIO fitting centre, and we have the man behind these clubs to fit us for this driver. Marco, how are you?
Good, how are you? Excellent.
Good, thank you so much for having us. First of all, these are absolutely fantastic. Now, I played golf yesterday with the VGD01 Plus, but I also tested and did a video on the standard VGD01 just a couple of weeks ago, and people have loved it. So guys, we've travelled over here. Marco is actually, you're the man behind these, aren't you? You designed them and kind of brought them to the public. And I think one of the big important factors here is VICE don't just make golf balls anymore. They make some fantastic products and they're still very, very affordable. So thank you so much, first of all, for having us, and also for bringing, I love bringing clubs to people on my channel that make golf more affordable, make it more accessible, and kind of bring it to the masses. So I'm really excited today to see, first of all, which driver head we'll get fitted into, but also which shaft component might fit it best as well.
Great, yeah. I'm looking forward to tune it to the very right specs. I think yesterday you had some really good drives, especially on the second nine.
Yeah.
I think very penetrating with the Plus driver. I think that's the main character of that one, to give you a lower spin rate. And
yeah, and I was excited to try it actually, because I've only tried the VGD01.
Yeah.
So where should we start? Because I'm really excited to start hitting some golf balls.
Yeah, I think we can directly start with the Plus driver and compare, like similar to the iron fitting, different loft and shaft settings. Yeah, and as soon as we have find the perfect combination for you, we can do a switch back to the standard driver and see how it performs against the other one. Okay,
perfect. Right, I'll give those to you. And guys, if you want to see more videos like this, make sure you do hit that subscribe button below. We're also going to do a club build of these clubs as well, because to have the workshop just behind us, it's a fantastic set. It's amazing to see, so make sure you stay tuned to that and hit that subscribe button. But now in the capable hands of this gentleman.
Let's go. I would recommend that we start straight ahead with the Plus driver, set it up on standard for a 9-degree head. So the cool thing with that adapter, you can adjust the loft by plus minus 2 degrees in 1 degree steps. And I think it's quite easy because it just tells you minus the number or plus the number in loft to adjust. So as I said, we put it on standard, and first of all, we're gonna use our VICE shafts. There are two different models, one which is slightly higher launching and one which is lower spinning and slightly lower launching. So that's our first one.
And one of the things I found really interesting was, if you do go on the VICE website, you can see they do have their own shafts, but there are in combination with the guys at Aldilla. So still very nice premium components, which is important, isn't it?
Yeah, of course. I think we want to focus on where we have the best knowledge, and that's club heads. And in terms of shafts, as I mentioned, we try to partner up with the best ones in the industry.
So the goal's a 300-yard drive, Marco?
Yeah, of course. We're not going to stop before.
The flight's at 10 o'clock tomorrow.
Nice. Tell me a little bit during your first shots, what's going well with the driver over the last years, what's not so well, what would the perfect drive look like?
So what I've tried to do with my game is I've tried to get that swing path a little bit more from the inside. I found that I was kind of glancing across the ball quite a lot. So for me, I've moved the ball back in the stance a bit, I've got my sternum back, I'm really trying to hit up on it a little bit more. That does help us lower that spin rate, but sometimes if I do smother it a little bit, we get that horrible left shot, which you saw yesterday. So it is a bit of a work in progress. And for me, anything pitching around that kind of 270 to 275 is a good hit. And then obviously if it can roll out to around.
But similar to your iron game, you're looking for the straight shots.
I think,
which
definitely
can fade or draw mini, but stay on the line.
Like that's a quite nice ball flight for me.
Yeah, I think that's a very good example when you're looking for a huge fade, as we're having like 287 yards, we're having a launch angle around 10 degrees, which is like for a fade, I think, all right. If you want to hit like the 300 yards drive, it has to launch slightly higher. Good spin rate for a fade, 2.7.
That's interesting, because that was a little bit toey, but it seems to come off nicely.
No side spin at all.
Yeah.
Now you already reached your goal, 304 yards after the second shot. So I think you can catch up your flight. So the reason why maybe that's important to explain with driver, everything, your speed is as it is. Yeah, we cannot change it dramatically. We can put you on a lighter, longer shaft, etc. But in the end, it's limited to your body height, etc. But what you can change is launch angle and spin rate. And this is a good example. Like now the ball, compared to the first drive, launched on nearly 13 degrees. So 3 degrees higher than the first drive. And the spin dropped by 1000 RPM, which is a lot.
Spin, yeah.
For what reason does it drop? Two reasons. One reason is that here we see a mini draw shot shape, and the other one was a fade one. And another reason, that one was slightly on the toe and slightly high on the face. Yeah. And the foresight, the cool thing, it tells us it's 14 millimeter high on the face, so 1.5 centimeters above the center. And that's the reason why it's low spinning.
A little bit left. Still good carry though. Really good carry on those ones.
Next shot, 304. We have to set a new target. That's boring.
To me, but like that's for me. Sub 2000 spin, around 150, 155, 160 ball speed.
Yeah. And now my question would be: are you looking for that? Yeah, I would say longest possible drive, or are you looking for more accuracy? Because if you're looking for the longest one, your perfect combination would look like, I would say, 13 degrees launch angle and spin rate around 2000, maybe slightly below. Yeah. But if you're looking for more accuracy, I would say launch angle can stay 12, 13, but spin has to move up to 2.3, 2.4. Yeah. To get like.
I think I speak for everybody who's watching this video, says I'm probably looking for distance. If I can hear some crickets, I don't know. And this sounds ridiculous, but it is exactly what everybody probably comes here for. You want everything, don't you? You want to walk into driver fitting, you want to hit it straighter, you want to hit it further. Sometimes maybe you have to pick one or the other, but I mean, I'm really impressed with that for an opening array of shots, to be fair. Like after how I've been playing recently, I feel like it's nice to see some pretty consistent ball flights. I know we've hit one just left there, but I think the forgiveness we're getting is really, really good. So I'm probably just going to try and hit it as far as possible, really.
Yeah.
I think within reason of, like, that one's going to be left-hand rough. It's not too bad, is it?
No, it's not too bad. I think my recommendation for those golfers playing, let's say, boogie golf and want to go for that driver giving them the biggest distance they can achieve is to have a good backup. Because if you have a good, for example, fairway 3, which you feel very comfortable with, a driving iron, a hybrid, whatever makes it very easy to come over a narrow tee box.
I love like a Stinger 2 iron.
Yeah, exactly. Then you can go for this aggressive driver setting. Yeah, if you don't have an alternative, that's not the best idea. Whew, good one.
Yeah, that's nice. It's certainly, because that was a bit of a toe strike as well. It's really hanging on. It's really doing well.
Yeah, I think I don't need any more shots with this combo. So same story as in an iron fitting. Doesn't make sense to hit like 15 shots per combination. Yeah. I think we saw some very good ones and some where exactly that happened, what you want to do, a more or less straight shot with like not a lot of side spin. So
club speed's good for me though as well. Actually.
Yeah, club speed is good, 110 miles per hour. And now we can move on and see like if we can get even more with another shaft combination or another loft setting.
Okay, let's do it.
So one thing we could try out is if you're looking for distance, what is the impact of a longer shaft? Yeah. So many people don't know what's happening if you use a longer driver shaft. If the shaft weight is light enough, it could result in a higher swing speed, and thus if you can like still hit it in the center, in a higher ball speed. Another important fact is the longer the shaft, like the shallower your swing plane normally will get, and the higher the launch angle will be. So if you're looking for more height or a higher launch angle, also a longer shaft can be a benefit. Okay. Yeah? So we're doing it in an extreme way. So this is, by the way, a prototype. Could be one of the new shaft designs for next year. So that's a huge difference if you look at that one. Yeah, I love during fittings not to say, okay, we're gonna increase the shaft length by ½ an inch, because that's really difficult to feel and also to see in the numbers. Let's do it in an extreme way. That's probably, I would say, around 2½ inch. Yeah, and see what's gonna happen.
Okay. Club head speed might go up, but ball speed may go down. We'll see.
Yes, and let's see what's happening in terms of ball flight height. So I put you again on standard loft, so nothing changes head-wise. I never recommend during a fitting to change shaft and head specs at the same time, because then you never know like what's the reason for a change. How does it feel?
Long.
Long?
Can anybody tell that Marco used to be a long driver?
Yeah, I did some long driving, and I think it's a very interesting side sport from golf, because you can learn a lot from long driving. All that, I think, physics behind high launch angles, low spin rates, what you can do to get another mile here and there. I think that can be very valuable when doing driver fitting. So interesting would be how many shots he needs to adjust to that driver length. Yeah, it could be that you can never adjust because it's just too long, or it just takes like 2 or 3 shots until you hit a good one.
Pulley, but the strike was better. Certainly feel like I'm fighting this one a bit.
Go for one more, and then we try to adjust for that kind of driver setting the tee height slightly. Now let's see, I give you 3 more shots with a slightly higher tee. Not super high, I would say, still somehow on that range
Bobby's
where you
turn me
control.
into a monster, isn't he? Trying to turn me into a beast. That was better.
A good one, but I would say slightly too low in terms of launch.
Ball speed's up though.
It was a very good impact, but when I checked the club head speed so far, there's not a huge change. Yeah, so I think here the result would be that a longer shaft might be not a benefit, because if you cannot, if you cannot achieve a higher club head speed, why would you then pick a longer shaft and adjust to something where you're not, like, at least in the beginning, feel comfortable with? There are some other players where directly you're going up like 3-4 miles in club head speed when going on a longer shaft, and dispersion is not changing, and then it's very worth to consider. But in your case, I would say club head speed exactly the same. So if we check the numbers of those two combinations, on the one side we have our standard length, and then the other one we have the longer driver. So the dispersion went up, we went down on total distance because there were just like more bad shots happening. And I think the worst thing is, and that's super crucial, the launch angle went down. And we never want to have a lower launch angle when looking for more distance, because it's always the higher you can launch it, the lower you can spin it, the more distance you get out of your drive.
And what I quite like about that is every good fitting I've ever had is always trial and error. It's let's try it just in case. Like I think in our heart of hearts we knew this wasn't going to be for me, but it's nice to have tried it. And
exactly. Like, you will not go home and say, I don't know, I should have tried a longer shaft to maybe go to, I don't know, 320 yards. Now you know, okay, at least with that combination, it's not worth to do so. Let's go on another test that could be also, I think, interesting for some guys. I put you again on a normal length, but I put you on a very thick grip. I think many know this kind of grip. It became popular through Bryson. And it would be interesting, like, what's happening to your ball flight again when I put you on such a special grip. Again, same head, same loft. How does that feel in a practice swing?
Thick.
So in theory, you would say the bigger the grip diameter gets, the more difficult it is to close the club face. On the other hand, if you go bigger, you can reduce hand rotation. And for some players who have a lot of like opening or closing, that could like somehow slow down, calm their hands, and brings more consistency into the drive. Slightly high on the face, but those are always like good misses. If you hit it high on the face, what many golfers don't know, the driver face is not flat. you have a bulge and a roll, so it's slightly curved. So if you hit it slightly up on the face, you hit it with more loft. So the driver is not anymore on 9 degrees. Normally it's around like 2 degrees higher. So the ball is launching higher. And at the same time, you get a lower spin rate when you hit it up there. And that's always the combination for a good distance. So if you check the ball speed, it went down on 145. I think it's around 10 miles lower than your good impact. But due to the 15-degree launch angle and a relatively low spin rate, you still achieved 280 yards for a miss, which is quite good.
See, that's as good as I've got really with that. It just doesn't, I don't feel like I can square the face up.
So I would also say, worth to test, but also in your case, I think just the first combination with the normal grip size, like, was so good that all these extreme like variations, it would be like just luck if something like would really make it even better than that one. So I think if we go back to the first combo once again and then check out what's gonna happen if we on the one hand change the loft and on the other hand then change to the standard driver and compare the results.
Yeah, I think a little bit more launch. Looking at it visually with the plus head might be the way to go, because I do like the low spin rate, but I think launching it a little bit more would just help.
Yeah, so I think here on those shafts, you always find also a rough idea about weight. So this first one I used is around 65 gram, and that's the plus model, which is lower spinning. So it could be on the one hand that we say, okay, let's use our shaft model, which is launching higher and not the plus one, or take the plus one, but put you on a slightly higher loft. So let's go up by 1 degree and put you from a 9 to a 10. Every time you adjust loft on the club head, the face angle changes slightly. So that will close the face slightly, which I think will not hurt your game.
Thank you. That felt nice.
So, and that's a good proof. I would always recommend during a fitting to change very often back to the combination where you feel most comfortable with. So that's now my benchmark, and every time I try something new, no matter with a shaft length, shaft weight, grip size, etc., I try that and then I go back to the benchmark version, which works so far the best. And as long as I don't find any better one, then that will be the one to go for. Good one. And also, if I look back at the course experience yesterday, and I think on at least 6-7 holes, your drive was pretty good in terms of accuracy and also position. But what I would say, also on the drive, similar to your iron ball flight, all of those drives which have turned out well could have launched slightly higher or reached a higher peak height. So that was one of the reasons I think where it would be clever either to go on a 9 head and put it up slightly and have a slightly closed face, or do it the other way around and use a 10.5 head and reduce it slightly. That's more maybe up to your preference.
I think I'd be more at home with a 10.5 head down and the face slightly open.
Okay, then let's try that one directly. That's always, I think, the decision the player could take if they want to have in the setup view a more open face or a more closed face. If you prefer a more open one.
It's how you look down at a dress, isn't it? Where you're like,
exactly.
For me, if it shuts down, and the bad shots yesterday weren't because of the driver, they were because of the malfunction in the swing. But for me, if I'm already looking at a driver face that's short, I just think, well, if I'm going to smother it like I do with my bad swing and it comes a little bit kind of from the outside, then it's low left all day long. Yeah,
cool. Then I think this 10.5, reducing it by 1 degree could work really well for you.
Because in an ideal world for me, I'm shallowing my driver path, which is bringing it from the inside. I'm going to launch it to the right, which I know I'm not doing yet, but in my head that's what I'm trying to do. That face is going to help me launch it to the right, and then the swing path will bring it back.
Yeah,
that's what in my head I'm trying to do.
Exactly. And we also, like, during that driver development, I think one of our the main focus was on finding the perfect specs for each loft. So I think we're one of the only driver brands or golf club brands where 9-degree head is completely different than the 12.5. So in weight, in face angle, in bulge and roll. So they have nothing in common, because if you look at those guys hitting a 9-degree driver and a 12.5, they're completely different types of players. So it wouldn't make sense to put them on the same weight or on the same face angle, for example.
Yeah.
So with that kind of adapter, we said we're gonna go for the 10.5 and put it down by 1 degree to open up the face slightly. And now there are two different options. Either I put you on a more upright lie angle on -1 loft or on a flatter lie angle. The more upright you go, the more the head promotes the shot, which is starting more to the left
Spin
side.
axis tilts a little bit more.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's go upright in the head, but open face, so it kind of counteracts each other a little bit. Because then visually I feel I can start it right, but the lie angle will help tilted spin axis, I think.
Okay.
Wonderful.
Ready to go.
That's the shot I want. I just want to start it further right. That felt really good.
Yeah, I think if you can start that one slightly more to the right side, that's perfect. And if it starts slightly more to the right, also you get a slightly higher launch.
It's actually not a bad shot. That you take that on the course all day.
Yeah. And also on those shots where the face is slightly open and you're fading the ball, I think it's important that the spin rate doesn't go up to 4,000 or 3.5.
Yeah.
So even on that one, which is I think definitely a bigger fade than what you've planned, we were on 3,000. Perfect fade.
Yeah.
Okay, let's change that again. Stay on the same loft setting, but change the lie configuration. So again, -1, but that's now in relation 2 degrees more flat, which helps to start the ball more towards the right side.
With any of these shots that you see in, would you be thinking maybe standard head rather than the plus head, or?
I think in your case, I don't see that you struggle with a high spin rate. Yeah, take care the other ball is too close to the ball, it's not measuring.
Oh, I absolutely ripped that as well.
Was a good one, but...
No!
To come back to the question, I think in terms of spin, yes, definitely I think the standard version would work for you very well. Yeah, because the biggest difference is spin, and if somebody's looking for a lower one, plus. But you're not looking for a lower one because you're not that guy spinning it at 3.5 or 4,000. Yeah. And then I think, I don't know, maybe it's up to preferences visually because they look slightly different from the top view, from the face, slightly from the bottom view.
Yeah.
And if you want to say, hey, I'm going to save $100 and go for the other one because I don't have an issue with the spin rate, why not? Very good drive.
Yeah, that was nice.
So I would personally recommend, if you give the decision to me, I would put you on a flatter lie angle on the driver. First reason is, that's also what I'm trying to do for all other clubs, for irons, etc. And second is that I think with your bad shots, I see them all the time starting more to the left side. And you said you're struggling sometimes with swing pass coming outside in. Yeah. And I think with that flatter lie angle and that slightly more open face, at least those are two factors which help to start it more to the right side. Then the only thing you have to control is face angle. Yeah. Of course, if the face would stay open, it would turn out in right of target. But if you can manage that, I think that will help.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think the last test we want to have is seeing the comparison between the plus driver and the standard driver. So I put it here on the same loft, same shaft. So we stick to the VICE 65 plus shaft and stick to the 10.5 head and put it down by 1 degree. So let's see what's the difference to the plus driver.
Certainly easier launching, isn't it? It's launch way easier.
Was a good one, right?
That was a bit roofy.
That was slightly high on the
That
face.
was
I think that's the
roofy
reason
one,
why the ball speed dropped.
I think the best we've had was the initial...
The first setup, right? Yeah.
I don't know if I'm just chasing better, and it's getting worse, really, with the swings. That's so healy.
Yeah, but that's good for me to see, because as you're hitting more drives and getting maybe a bit more tired and swing is not that consistent anymore, you're coming more from the outside, what you like have told me. So on the last one, for example, I was on 3.5 degrees outside, and that was the reason why the ball launched relatively low. And of course, due to that side spin, the spin rate increased.
Better, but still leaky, isn't it?
One last, and then let's take a look at the numbers and see the comparisons of the different setups we tried.
What is that? That was better.
Yeah, I think that one was a good impact.
Yeah.
Pretty low in terms of launch, but very controlled, 291. So let's compare them. I think we have a long list now. So we started with the Plus driver on 9 degrees with the width 65. And therefore, I think these were the data we looked at. Carry was 270 in average and total was 297. And I think the longest drive was around 3.5, something like this in yards. Then we said, okay, we're gonna try same combo, but just a very long shaft. The result was, okay, the long shaft doesn't give you any miles extra, so then there is no need. Then we tried a very extreme one, but I think in the meantime, like a popular one, a jumbo grip, so super thick grip. Also that one like left your cup face open, no improvement, total distance dropped to 276. Then we said, okay, let's gonna try upright versus flat version. Then we saw, okay, the upright was higher in total distance, but here the dispersion was pretty low. So I would say if I have the chance and change the loft angle, I would rather put you on a flatter lie angle than a more upright. And then we had the last comparison, and now I kick out all the other versions and just leave Plus driver versus standard driver in there. Exactly the same setting. This one, I put it down on 9.5 degrees. This one was a 9, so 0.5 degrees difference in loft, but not a lot. So spin rate went up by 700 RPM, and that's the reason, or one of the reasons, why the total distance dropped. I would say definitely your swing was not that good then in the beginning.
Fatigue's played a part, hasn't it? But
exactly, but I think overall the first combination, I think, is the one to go for. But my recommendation would be to stick to that 10.5 and reduce it slightly in loft to get that open face. But then play loft, or the loft you want to play your driver, would be around 9.5 degrees.
Yeah, very good. Can we hit a couple with the Plus again? I really enjoyed it. I'll summon some energy.
So.
So I like that ball flight for a miss as well. You know, if it's late on in the round.
Yeah, and I think that's for your technique, I would say with a launch of 7 degrees, definitely a miss, but still going okay.
We're just going to stand there till the carry one wants 270, Bob. That's definitely the one, isn't it? Look at that.
Yeah, I think, and that's the shot, I think, where
I feel way more confident. I don't know if it's the shape of the head, because of the shape, like we've got the two ridges in this one, haven't we, in the crown?
Yeah.
I don't know if that just gives me a bit more.
I think if you compare the two drivers from the top, definitely we want to have a similar look, but on the Plus head, you get a different forged carbon pattern. Here it's way bigger, way smaller. Then you see a different face design. And then also from the bottom, the approach was to have them at a very similar look, but here just the materials are different. So these back fins, what we call them on the Plus driver, they're made of aluminum, which promotes a different sound and a lower spin. And here they are part of the titanium body.
Sorry, I'm starting like a child now, so I'm really enjoying myself. Marco, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Really good to shed a light on something which is a very nice product, performs really well, and of course is a bit more affordable than some of the other brands on the market.
Yeah.